All right, shalom, shalom, yasharala, yahabashim yashar brakatah, brakathum. Like it. All right, we're coming to y'all with another Shabbat class. All right, gearing towards our people learning and understanding. Pushing this truth to the four corners of the earth through the internet and giving it to you. All right, give me a second. Okay, so today's lesson. All right, we're going into the Torah, the law, in Deuteronomy chapter 11, starting at verse 26. We're going to end up in chapter 16, and the last verse will be verse 17. Then we're going to go to the prophets and read Isaiah, which is the brother John. We're going to start at chapter 54, and then start at verse 11, ending at chapter 55 and verse 5. And then we're going to go on to the gospel, the good news, all right? And start at John chapter 6, verse 35, end at verse 51. All right, twinkling of an eye. Okay, Ra'ah. This week is Ra'ah, twinkle of an eye. All right. So we're gonna get this started real quick. I'm just waiting on my reader. Give me a sec. I'm gonna share this and we're gonna start. So everybody that's on right now, stay on. We can get this started. You're gonna love this. It's gonna be a great class. All right. All right, Khan, Shalom, y'all, Shalom. All right, so first thing you know what we're going to do is we're going to do our prayers like we always do, okay? You always got to send praises to the Most High, bowing flat on your face, all right? So, Amadium towards Jerusalem, we're going to get these prayers cracking. Take your shoes off because you're in a holy place. If you can't lay flat on your face and you're somewhere and you're listening to this, all right, just face the east and look that way. You know, put your earphones on and don't pay attention to nobody. All right? Mahdi towards Russell. This is the Abanawa found in the book of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 9 to 13. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayah, Kadash, Haya, Shimka, Yahweh, Malakaka, Taba'a, Ratazaka, Haya, Aisha, Barataza, Kahaya, Bashemaya, Otanyanawa, Lakham, Koyawam, Basalakina, Kabawatina, Kasalakina, Kabawatina, Wala'a, Tabiyainao, Benesai 1. Abo, Hawashai now, Monrai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwa, Wa'ala, Watapara, Wa'alamia, Aman, Bahashim, Yahweh, Hamashiach, Aman. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done here on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen. Bahashem, Yahushua, Mashiach, Amen. Okay, this is the Asherah, book of Psalms, found in chapter 84, verse 4, chapter 144, verse 15, chapter 145, from top to bottom, chapter 115, verse 18. All right? Blessed are they that dwell in thy house. They will still be praising thee, Selah. Happy is that people that is in such a case. Yea, happy is that people with Alahaya as Yahweh. I will extol thee, my Alahaya, O King, and I will bless thy name forever and ever. Every day will I bless thee, and I will praise thy name forever and ever. Yahweh is forever and ever. Great is Yahweh, and greatly to be praised, and his greatness is unsearchable. One generation shall praise thy works to another, and shall declare thy mighty acts. I will speak of thy glorious honor, of thy majesty, and of thy wondrous works. And men shall speak of thy might, of thy terrible acts. And I will declare thy greatness. They shall abundantly utter the memory of thy great goodness, and shall sing of thy righteousness. Yahweh is gracious and full of compassion, slow to anger, and of great mercy. Yahweh is good to all, and his tender mercies are over all his works. All thy works shall praise thee, O Yahweh, and thy saints shall bless thee. They shall speak of thy glory, of thy kingdom, and talk of thy power, to make known to the sons of men his mighty acts, and the glorious majesty of his kingdom. Thy kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and thy dominion endureth throughout all generations. Yahweh upholdeth all that fall, and raiseth up all those that be bowed down. Bow down. Yahweh upholdeth all that fall, and raiseth up all those that be bowed down. Thy eyes are always upon thee, and thou givest them their meat in due season. Thou openest thy hand and satisfiest the desire of every living thing. Yahweh is righteous in all his ways and holy in all his works. Yahweh is nigh unto all them that call upon him, to all that call upon him in truth. He will fulfill the desire of them that fear him. He also will hear their cry and will save them. Yahweh will preserve all them that love him, but the wicked will he destroy. My mouth shall speak the praises of Yahweh, and let all flesh bless his holy name forever and ever. But we bless thee, but we bless the Yahweh from this time forth forevermore. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Hashem, Hashem Yahushua, Mashiach.
All right, this is the first three prayers of the Amada. Abawah, Barak, Ta, Hawah, Yahweh, Allah Hayina, Allah Hayina, Allah Hayah, Allah Hayah, Bakinawa, Allah Hayah, Araham, Allah Hayah, Allah Hayah, Allah, Sharia, Allah, Ayamud, Kamal, Sarayam, Barak, Ta, Yahweh, Ben, Araham, Kurba, yeah, the workshop, Yahweh, for the washing, Allah, Yahweh, Allah, Yahweh, our father, Abraham, Isaac, mighty power, most high power. There's mercy, that's for you, that's for Yahweh, Abraham, God, mighty Yahweh, forever. How to receive the dead, who's prepared with you, who's prepared with you. Eternity, cause death, and give life, That's for you, Yahweh, give life, to the dead, the holy Yahweh, famous for death. One escape and death. That's you, Yahweh, powerful, Hashem, Shad, This is the Yabaraka on Numbers chapter 6, verse 24 to 26. Yabaraka, Yahweh, Yasamaraka, one, Yasharah, Yahweh, Hayaka, one, Yahweh, Hayaka, Yishim, that's our Lord. You know, Periah, Yasharah, Marakai. Yahweh, confidence, This is the Ta'ala, Book of Song of the Breeze. I will lift up my eyes into the hills, from whence cometh my help. My help cometh from Yahweh, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. Yahweh is thy keeper. Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. Yahweh shall preserve thee from evil. Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. Yahweh shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth and forevermore. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Hashem, Yahushua, Mashiach, Mashiach. This is a song for the Shabbat day. It is a good thing to give thanks unto Yahweh, to sing praises unto thy name, O Most High. To shoot forth thy loving kindness in the morning and thy faithfulness every night. Upon an instrument of 10 strings and upon a palfrey, upon a harp with a solemn sound. For thou, Yahweh, hast made me glad through thy work. I will triumph through thy works of thy hand. Yahweh, how great are thy works, and thy thoughts are very deep. A brutish man knows not, neither a fool understandeth. When the wicked spring as the grass, and when all the workers of iniquity flourish, it is that they shall be destroyed forever. But thou, Yahweh, art most high forevermore. Hello. thine enemies, Yahweh, for lo, thine enemies shall perish. All the workers of iniquity shall be scattered, but my horn shalt thou exalt like the horn of a unicorn. I shall be anointed with fresh oil. My eye also shall see my desire of my enemies, and my ears shall hear my desire of the wicked that rise up against me. The righteous shall flourish like a palm tree. He shall grow like a cedar in Lebanon. Those that be planted in the house of Yahweh shall flourish in the course of our Alahaya. They shall still bring forth fruit in old age. They shall be fat and flourishing to shew that Yahweh is upright. He is my rock. There is no unrighteousness in him. Hallelujah. 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 Hashem. Yahushua. Shia. All right, everybody up. All right, it's time to get to class. Get this lesson out, man. All right. So what chapter we going to, Soldier?
Deuteronomy chapter 11, verse 26.
Start when you feel the need to. Give us just a second. We'll start up. Hey, feel free to ask questions in here. Something that you feel that sounds a little weird and you don't understand, feel free to ask questions, and we'll answer them as diligent as we can. Come on, let's go.
Deuteronomy chapter 11 and verse 26.
Come on.
Behold, I set before you this day a blessing and a curse. A blessing if you obey the commandments of the Lord your God,
Okay.
which I command you this day, and a curse if you would not obey the commandments of the Lord your God, but turn aside out of the way which I command you this day, to go after other gods which ye have not known.
So hold on. The Most High said he is set today, and this was a long time ago, ahead of you a blessing and a curse. A blessing if you obey the commandment of the Lord, and a curse if you will not obey the commandment of the Lord. All right? So what is a commandment? A commandment is a law, an ordinance, something that he commanded you to do. Hey, y'all clean y'all room up every Tuesday. It doesn't stop. That's just what I told you to do. Every Tuesday, y'all clean up your room, which it should be cleaned up every other day. You know what I mean? But at the same time, that's a commandment. That's what you're going to do forever. It doesn't stop. It's not for a time. It just doesn't stop until you die. You pass. You give up the ghost. All right? Read.
And it shall come to pass when the Lord thy God hath brought thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, that thou shalt put the blessing upon Mount Gerizim and the curse upon Mount Ebal.
Mount Gerizim. Go ahead.
Are they not on the other side Jordan, by the way where the sun goeth down, in the land of Canaan, in the land of the Canaanites, which dwell in Champion?
Hold on, start back at 30.
Are they not on the other side Jordan, by the way where the sun goeth down, in the land of the Canaanites, which dwell in Champion, over against Gilgal, beside the plains of Morah? For ye shall pass over Jordan to go in to possess the land which the Lord your God giveth you, and ye shall possess it and dwell therein. And ye shall observe to do all the statutes and judgments which I set before you this day.
So, he has set before us a blessing and a curse, right? And verse 32 said, and ye shall observe to do all the statutes and judgments which are set before you this day. So he told you to do all these statutes and all these judgments, and he commanded you this day. So that means if you don't do them, it's a curse. If you don't do these statutes, these moral laws, if you don't act right towards your brother, these curses are going to follow you. Deuteronomy 28 and 54. Your eye is evil towards your brother. All right? Curses are going to come by. All right? Now, none of the brothers are going to like, not going, no brother will like each other in that neighborhood because of the curses, because of you're not following and loving thy brother as thyself. That's what's going to happen. All right? And it's going to be hard to win them over. Okay?
Call Shabbat the Bari Howard, Night Shabbat, Nashman.
All Yahweh said what we're doing here. So now we're going to start with chapter 12. Start as soon as you like.
Deuteronomy chapter 12 and verse 1. These are the statutes and judgments which ye shall observe to do in the land which the Lord God of thy fathers giveth it, so he giveth thee to possess it all the days that you live upon the earth.
Now check this out. Last week we did chapters 10, 9, and 7, right? And I believe in, let me see. Deuteronomy chapter 9 and verse 9. Chapter 9, Deuteronomy 9 and verse 9. When I was gone up into the mount to receive the tables of stone, even the tables of the covenant, which the Lord made with you, then abode in mount 40 days and 40 nights, neither did eat bread nor drink water. And the Lord delivered unto me 2 tables of stone written with the finger of Yahweh. And on them was written according to all the words which the Lord spake with you in the mount, out of the midst of the fire in the day of the assembly. And it came to pass in the end of 40 days and 40 nights that the Lord gave me 2 tables of stone, even the tables of the covenant. And the Lord said unto me, Arise, get thee down quickly from hence. For the people which thou hast brought forth out of Egypt have corrupted themselves. And how did they corrupt themselves? Watch this. They are quickly turned aside out of the way which I commanded them. They have made them molten images. That's how you corrupt yourself, with other gods. Okay? Furthermore, this verse 13. Furthermore, the Lord spake unto me, saying, I have seen this people, and behold, it is a stiff-necked people, right? Meaning rebellious. All right, you're stubborn. Okay? Verse 14. Let me alone that I may destroy them, and blot out their name from under heaven. And I will make of thee a nation mightier and greater than they. So I turned and came down from the mount and burned with fire the 2 tables. So I turned and came down from the mount, and the mount burned with fire. And the 2 tables of the covenant were in my 2 hands. And I looked, right? And behold, ye had sinned against the Lord your God, and had made you molten calf. Ye had turned aside quickly out of the way which the Lord commanded you. And I took the 2 tables of stone and cast them out of my 2 hands and break them before your eyes. So what happened then? Did he make 2 other stones? Yes, he did. We're now in chapter 12. Let's see where he said we're going to make 2 stones like the ones before. Where's that? Mm-hmm. So now we're going to go to chapter 10 and verse 1. At that time the Lord said unto me, hew thee 2 tables of stone, like unto the first, and come up unto me into the mount, and make thee an ark of wood. And I will write on the tables the words that were in the first tables which thou breakest, and thou shalt put them in the ark. So now he's making 2 more stones. And when we go past chapter 10, right? And we started in what, soldier?
We started in chapter 11.
And
verse 26.
Exactly. So it's the next chapter, right? He's starting to speak about the commandments and everything else, right? So, okay, now we're in chapter 12. And he's about to start telling, Moses about to start telling what's on those stones. And that's what we're getting into right now, is what was on those stones. Because a lot of people, they're crazy as hell. And verse 11, some things that were on those stones that was written. All right, read that. Chapter 12 and verse 1.
Deuteronomy chapter 12, verse 1. These are the statutes and judgments which ye shall observe to do in the land the Lord thy God of thy fathers giveth thee to possess it, all the days that ye live upon the earth. So what I just did is gave you a recap of what happened to bring you to what we're talking about right now. Read. Statutes and judgments. Observe them. Read. Verse 2. Ye shall utterly destroy all the places wherein the nations which ye shall possess serve their gods, upon the high mountains and upon the hills and under every green tree. So when we go into a land the Most High give us, we're supposed to destroy those altars and those groves, burn those groves up of the nations before, because those groves serve their gods, and the Most High wants to burn them. All right? He wanted to knock all down the altars to those gods because they ain't nothing to him. He's the only living God. Nobody else helped him build this. All right? But his son, Hamashiach Yahushua, and the angels. Read. But unto verse 5. No, verse 4. Ye shall not do so unto the Lord your God, but unto the place which the Lord your God shall choose out of all of your tribes, to put his name there. Saying basically, you're not going to knock down the Lord's groves, his altars. Yeah. You're not going to do that to him. Read. Even unto his habitation shall ye seek, and thither thou shalt come. And thither ye shall bring your burnt offerings, and your sacrifices, and your tithes, and heave offerings of your hands, and of your vows, and of your free will offerings, and the firstlings of your herds, and of your flocks. So he's saying that this is what you're going to bring to his altar. Okay? Because remember, when you go into another land, the Most High will tell you to burn and kill all their cattle and everything else that is there. All right, read. Verse 7. And there ye shall eat before the Lord your God, and ye shall rejoice in all that ye put your hand unto, ye and your households wherein the Lord thy God hath blessed thee. Ye shall not do after all the things that ye do here this day, every man whatsoever is right in his own eyes. Lean not to thy own understanding. Read. Ye are not as yet come to the rest and to the inheritance which the Lord your God giveth you. Basically saying, hey, you can't do all that you want to do right now. You ain't where you're supposed to be. So calm down. Read. Verse 10. But when you go over Jordan and dwell in the land which the Lord your God giveth you to inherit, and when he giveth you rest from all your enemies round about, so that ye dwell in safety, then there shall be a place. Then there shall be a place, right? He just acting to where he told you that ye shall not do after all these things that we're doing this day. Every man whatsoever is in his right, his own eyes, right? Because you're not in your place of rest. But he's saying now, then, read. Then there shall be a place which the Lord your God shall choose to cause his name to dwell there. Thither your burnt offerings and your sacrifice. Thither shall ye bring all that I command you. Your burnt offerings and your sacrifices, your tithes and the heave offering of your hand, and all your choice vows which you vow unto the Lord. So like today, altar stuff ain't set up. There's nowhere for us to bring these cattle. When we're able to do that, we can bring that up here. Does that mean we're not supposed to keep the law? God forbid, man. You keep the law. We just ain't got nowhere to burn our burnt offerings. We gotta wait till the temple is built when we're back in the land. All right, read. Come. And ye shall rejoice before the Lord your God, ye and your sons and your daughters and your men servants and your maid servants and the Levite that is within your gates. For as much as ye have no part nor inheritance with you, take heed to thyself that thou offer not thy burnt offering in every place that thou seest, but in the place which the Lord shall choose in one of thy tribes. There thou shalt offer thy burnt offering, and there thou shalt do all that I command thee.
Meaning, like if you're in the land of Judea, that's where you're going to bring your burnt offerings and everything else. You're not going to go into your backyard and bring your burnt offerings. And you're going to eat it there. All right? Because after you finish burning it, you're going to eat it there. Or if, you know what I'm saying, you're too far from somewhere, you know what I'm saying, that goes into something different. We'll find out what that is. But I won't say that, you know what, you should build another altar. No, you ain't going to do that. All right? But it's going to get into like, okay, what if you want to burn some meat? Can't do it at your house? If it's too far, maybe. We'll see. Keep going.
Verse 15, notwithstanding, thou mayest kill the cat flesh in all thy gates.
Notwithstanding, where you at?
It looked like a C. Notwithstanding, thou mayest kill and eat flesh in all thy gates, whatsoever thy soul lusteth after, according to the blessing of the Lord thy God. Hold on, this cord is getting on my head. Verse 15, Sarkin. Notwithstanding, thou mayest kill and eat flesh in all thy gates, whatsoever thy soul lusteth after, according to the blessing of the Lord thy God, which he hath given thee. The unclean and the clean may eat thereof, as the roebuck and as of the hart. Only ye shall not eat the blood; ye shall pour it upon the earth as water. Thou mayest not eat within thy gates the tithe of thy corn, or of thy wine, or of thy oil, or of the firsting of thy herds, or of thy flocks, nor any of thy vows which thou vowest, nor thy freewill offerings or heave offering of thine hand. But thou must eat them before the Lord thy God, in the places which thy son and thy daughters and thy manservant and thy maidservant and the Levite that is within thy gates. And thou shalt rejoice before the Lord thy God in all that thou puttest thine hands unto. Take heed to thyself that thou forsake not the Levite, as long as thou livest upon the earth. When the Lord thy God shall enlarge thy border, and he hath promised thee, and thou shalt say, I will eat flesh, because thy soul longeth to eat flesh. Thou mayest eat flesh whatsoever thy soul lusteth after. But the place which the Lord thy God hath chosen to put his name there be too far from thee, then thou shalt kill of thy herd and of thy flock, which the Lord hath given thee, as I have commanded thee, and thou shalt eat in thy gates whatsoever thy soul lusteth after. Even as the roebuck and the hart is eaten, so thou shalt eat them. The unclean and the clean shall eat of them alike. No, verse 23.
All right.
Verse 23.
Okay. Go ahead.
Verse 23. Only be sure that thou eat not the blood, for the blood is the life, and thou mayest not eat the life with the flesh. Thou shalt not eat it. Thou shalt pour it upon the earth as water. Thou shalt not eat it, that it may go well with thee, and with thy children after thee.
So a lot of people, what they do is they like to drink the blood.
Right.
All right. It's disgusting, man. Let's see what happens. These cultures that drink the blood. What does drinking the blood do to you? Okay. Let's see. Maybe didn't ask that question right. Let's see this. Look at Edomites. Vampires do not exist, regardless of what your parents thought. No, regardless of what your parents taught you. They have to deal with the numerous side effects of drinking human blood. Many of these modern vampires have adopted a blood-sucking lifestyle by choice and are able to minimize most blood drinking effects by limiting their consumption. However, individuals who have clinical vampirism, what's going on? Vampirism feel compelled to keep going even after they learn what happens when vampires drink blood. This can lead to disastrous consequences. It is also virtually guaranteed to have an enormous impact on their entire lives. The majority difference between clinical vampirism and choosing a vampire lifestyle, which these real photos of vampires document, it is that people with clinical vampirism typically have little to no control over their desire to consume blood. Medical case reviews indicate that this condition is rare, but is obviously do exist. These cases have helped answer common questions. What happened if you drink blood? Dave also pointed out that many similarities in the childhood experience of clinical vampires, which include cutting themselves at a young age. As the condition progresses, these sanguinarians, become increasingly fixated on getting blood from other people. There is no known cure or successful treatment of method for clinical vampirism. Interestingly, though, it's possible that people with a serious iron deficiency may be able to give into the same vital craving without suffering from as many side effects. Therefore, how your body reacts to drinking blood may vary slightly from the typical medically observed complications. There is a number of common consequences from drinking blood. However, I don't want to go through this. I just want to show you the difference between drinking blood and what happens to you. I want to go to somewhere else. I didn't think this was going to pop up right here, but I read it anyways, just to give you an insight on the things that are going on, because you're not supposed to drink blood. And the Most High said that, and you got these heathen nations that are doing that, and it's not right. But let me
Hey, Con, if I may add, though, you have a lot of customs, like in China and everything, with them drinking, tiger blood, other animals' blood, so-called gives them, spiritual power. It starts to make, and it actually does too. It gives them that spirit of a tiger. You know what I'm saying? For drinking tiger blood.
come. Okay, spell it. So, We're gonna get off this, man, because I can't find one. So it's like it was said that cultures like to drink blood because they get the spirit of that animal, like lions, tigers. Can't find it, but the spirit. Maybe next time we'll find it. So where do we end off at?
Verse 27.
So book chapter verse.
Deuteronomy chapter 12, verse 27. And thou shalt offer thy burnt offering, the flesh and the blood, upon the altar of the Lord thy God, and the blood of thy sacrifices shall be poured out upon the altar of the Lord thy God, and thou shalt eat the flesh. Observe and hear all these words which I command thee, that it may go well with thee, and with the children after thee forever.
So when he said observe, when you go to the Hebrews, Strong's H, 8104, it means to take heed, to watch, to retain, to be on guard. Okay? All right, go ahead. Start at 28.
Verse 28. Observe and hear all these words which I command thee, that it may go well with thee, and with thy children after thee forever. When thou doest that which is good and right in the sight of the Lord thy God. When the Lord thy God shall cut off the nations from before thee, whether thou goest to possess them, and thou succeedest them, and dwellest in their land, take heed to thyself that thou be not snared by following them, and that they be destroyed from before thee, and that thou inquire not after their gods, saying, how did these nations serve their gods? Even so will I do likewise. Thou shalt not do unto the Lord thy God for every abomination to the Lord which he hath done unto their gods, for even their sons and their daughters they have burnt in the fire to their gods.
So even what?
Even their sons
and their daughters,
yeah,
they have burnt in the fire to their gods. That's what the stuff they did. That's what our people was doing. Was following after these people, the Egyptians and the Syrians and everything, worshiping, burning their kids to idols, to other gods and everything else. The Most High said this is what they were doing. He said, don't follow after that. You're not supposed to burn your kids. Okay, you don't do those things. You don't burn your kids, man. All right, Carl Sherrell.
I'm not done yet.
When they're done, you? I'll go ahead and finish.
Verse 32. What things soever I command you, observe to do it. Thou shalt not add thereto nor diminish from it.
So don't be adding to this. And don't diminish it. Don't make it sound unworthy to listen to. You know what I'm saying? Who is that? The brother in the truth now, Asha Sharala, he's doing it. You know what I'm saying? He's diminishing from the word. He's saying don't put so much emphasis on the law. You know, he's diminishing. Not supposed to do that, right?
Call Shabbat the word Yahweh, shall not shemai.
Oh, yeah, I was saying what we're doing here. So remember, inquire not after these other nations' gods, and don't ask how these other nations serve their gods. That's in chapter 12, verse 30. All right. Learn not the philosophy of these gods. All right. Same thing. Remember, the Most High told us to destroy their altars and destroy the name of their gods out of that land. Chapter 12, verse 2 to 4. All right. Forsake not a Levite. Chapter 12, verse 15 and 16. Never forsake a Levite. Chapter 12, verse 8. Lead not to thy own understanding. Everybody got to understand that one. All right. Don't eat the blood of the animals. Chapter 12, verse 15 to 16. Don't do that. All right. So let's move on to chapter 13, Baba Kashan.
Deuteronomy chapter 13, verse 1. If there arise among you a prophet or a dreamer of dreams, and giveth thee a sign or a wonder, and the sign or the wonder come to pass, whereof he spake unto thee, saying, let us go after other gods, which thou hast not known, and let us serve them. Thou shalt not hearken unto the words of that prophet, or of that dreamer of dreams. For the Lord your God proveth you, to know whether you love to the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul. Ye shall walk after the Lord your God, and fear him, and keep his commandments, and obey his voice, and you shall serve him, and cleave unto him. And that prophet or that dreamer of dreams shall be put to death, because he has spoken to turn you away from the Lord your God, which brought you out of the land of Egypt, and redeemed you out of the house of bondage, to thrust thee out of the way which the Lord thy God commanded thee to walk in. So shalt thou put the evil away from the midst of thee. If thy brother, the son of thy mother, or thy son, or thy daughter, or the wife of thy bosom, or thy friend, which is as thine own soul, entice thee secretly, saying, let us go and serve other gods which thou hast not known, thou nor thy fathers.
Hold on. So there's this dreamer of dreams. All right, you got to tell the differences. He said, the dreamer of dreams that giveth a sign or wonder, and the sign or the wonder come to pass, whereof he spake unto thee, saying, let us go after the other gods which thou hast not known to serve. Don't follow that dude. And he's going to give you some rules and regulations on what to do to that guy. Right? So, for the Lord your God proveth you to know whether you love the Lord your God with all your heart. And that's what he's doing. He's proving you. He's putting you around people. Man, hold on. We got to read that again. We got to read that again. We just read from 1 to 4. Baba Kushada. You can start back. Read 1 through 4. Everybody got to understand this. Read.
1. If there arise among you a prophet or a dreamer of dreams, and giveth thee a sign or a wonder, and the sign or the wonder come to pass, whereof he spake unto thee, saying, let us go after other gods, which thou hast not known, and let us serve them.
So he's saying, man, you know what we should do? Man, we should go over here to this thing. Man, I saw it in a dream. And it's coming to pass right now. I saw it in a dream, man. We should do it. Saying let's do this and let's do that. Oh, you got to think about it now. What is the Most High doing to you? Read.
Thou shalt not hearken unto the words of that prophet or that dreamer of dreams, for the Lord your God proveth you, to know whether you love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul.
He's just proving you to see what you're going to do. You got a job to do, brothers and sisters. Sisters, you have a job to worship your husband. Brothers, you got a job to teach the people in your community. You should be doing nothing other than that and having camaraderie and brotherhood. All right? All right, start back to where you was. And now it's going to give you some rules and regulations on how to treat this dream of dreams and your mom and your brother that's trying to get you to serve other gods. Read.
I'm going to start at verse 6. If thy brother, the son of thy mother, or thy son, or thy daughter, or thy wife, or thy bosom, or thy friend, which is as thine own soul, entice thee secretly, saying, Let us go and serve other gods, which thou hast not known, thou nor thy fathers, namely of the gods of the people which are round about you, nigh unto thee, or far off from thee, from the one end of the earth even unto the other end of the earth, thou shalt not consent unto him, nor hearken unto him, neither shall thine eye pity him, neither shalt thou spare, neither shalt thou conceal him, but thou shalt surely kill him. Thine hand shall be first upon him to put him to death.
Exactly, man.
And afterwards the hand of all the people. And thou shalt stone him with stones, that he die, because he hath sought to thrust thee away from the Lord thy God.
And that's what they're trying to do, is get you out from serving the Most High. Man, don't go kick it. Don't when somebody tell you don't go kick it with some brothers that is telling the truth and they're reading the truth to you, they're trying to get you to follow another God. When somebody's trying to get you out from doing what the Most High told you to do, man, they are serving another God. They're trying to get you to serve that God too. You should never let nobody tear you away from that, man. You are serving another God. If somebody's not telling you to give your best to submit women to your husbands, they're trying to get you to serve another God. Because the Most High said worship him. And your friends is putting things in your head that is causing you not to serve your husband, your head, your God like that. You are serving another God. Read.
Come, and thou shalt stone him with stones, that he die, because he hath sought to thrust thee away from the Lord thy God, house of bondage.
You should stone your friends, all right? Because they're trying to get you out of not serving your Lord. They need to be stoned to death. You're supposed to be serving your Lord, your husband, worshiping the Most High, worshiping your Lord as well. Read.
Come, verse 11. And all Israel shall hear and fear, and shall do no more any such wickedness as this is among you. If thou shalt hear, say in one of thy cities, which the Lord thy God hath given thee to dwell there, saying, Certain men, the children of Baal, are gone out from among you, and have withdrawn the inhabitants of the city, saying, Let us go and serve other gods, which ye have not known. Then shalt thou inquire and make search and ask diligently, and behold, if it be truth, and the thing certain that such abomination is wrought among you, thou shalt surely smite the inhabitants of that city with the edge of the sword.
So once you got a bunch of idolatrous, backstabbing cretins that are coming to your town, and then start pulling the inhabitants out, telling them to come and serve this guy. Hey man, check this out. We don't know about your God, but our God got this, and that. And they start getting them out. Now you got to diligently inquire what they're talking about and to find out what they're doing. And if it come to pass that they are trying to get your people to follow another God, hey, smite them. That's what the Most High says. Smite them. Get them off the face of this earth, man. All right? That's what you do. Smite them. Now we got to think smart, brothers and sisters. We got to think smart. Can we smite them like that right now? No, we can't. So what is the best thing for you to do? Get the hell away from them. Leave them. Mark them that cause offenses. What are those offenses causing to put stumbling blocks under you, causing you not to believe in the Most High? Get the hell away from them. Let them be. But mark them. Let everybody know who they are. Mark them. All right? Read, soldier.
Verse 16. And thou shalt gather all the spoil of it into the midst of the street thereof, and thou shalt burn with fire the cities and all the spoil thereof, every whit, for the Lord thy God, and it shall be in heap forever. It shall not be built again. And there shall cleave not of thee cursing to thine hand, that the Lord may turn from the fierceness of his anger, and shew thee mercy, and have compassion upon thee, and multiply thee, as he hath sworn unto thy fathers. When thou shalt hearken to the voice of the Lord thy God, to keep all his commandments which are commanded this day, to do that which is right in the eyes of the Lord thy God.
So let's go up to 14 and 18. 14 to 18. All right, 13 and 14 and 18. Then shalt thou inquire and make search, and ask diligently. And behold, if it be true, and the thing certain that such abomination wrought among you, that thou shalt surely smite the inhabitants. But it's a diligent search, man. The Most High wants you to hear the whole conclusion of the matter. Both sides, everything. And he will put the spirit on you to understand and know what you need to do. Smite him. That's it. He's watching. He's paying attention, man. He tested all those people. He wanted to see if all those people loved him. Man, I ain't finna go follow another damn God. If anything outside of these scriptures if anything outside of the scriptures that I'm not supposed to do, I'm not going to do it. Lord willing, I can live by my word, man, and I can do it. I ain't finna serve no other God. I ain't finna do all that. You ain't finna get me to stop serving my power. You crazy as hell. I ain't crazy. And I suggest y'all to not be stupid. Buckle your safety belts. Get Yahweh. Hashem, Yahweh Shah. All right, Bon. Shalom.
That was a good.
Oh, go ahead. I thought you did 18.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I'm sucking. Call Sharad the Bari Howard and Shawan Ashmai. All the I would say what we're doing here.
So in this next chapter, God's children are not to disfigure themselves in mourning. All right, acting like they're broke down, or just acting like they're all broken and everything else. So we're going to go over that. Watch. So what's the point of the Most High's judgment? Chapter 13, verse 11. And all Israel shall hear and fear, and shall do no more any such wickedness as this is amongst you. That's the point of the Most High's judgment. It's for you to fear. Okay? So let's go. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm gonna share screen on this one. Go ahead.
Deuteronomy chapter 14 and verse 1. Here, ye are the children of the Lord your God. You shall not cut yourselves, nor make any baldness between your eyes for the dead. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. And the Lord hath chosen thee to be a peculiar people unto himself above all the nations that are upon the earth. Thou shalt not eat any abomination.
So let's
any
stop there.
abominable thing.
Ye should not cut yourselves, nor make any baldness between your eyes for the dead. All right? Look at these cuts. His ritual customs, these Hamite nations. It's these Hamite nations. Look at, they're making cuts in the babies' faces, man. Look at this. This is fucking wickedness, man. Look what they doing. They're putting this baby through all that trauma, man. Look at this woman's face. This woman's face, man. Look at this. It's like getting $1.50. Look at it. They did some design on his face here, there, here, there. This is crazy, man. Oh, let me go somewhere else. Now, this is when you get into tattoos, okay? It says, ye are the children of the Lord your God. You should not cut yourselves, nor make any borders between your eyes for the dead. Okay, this is goes into cutting because it's a needle. All right, it cuts the flesh. All right, it's cutting into the flesh. Right here. Let's go. Look at all this. Look at these needles, man. Look at these needles. Sharp, they're cutting right into the flesh. Poking and scraping and scarring. All right, and slicing for the tattoos. All right, that's what they're doing. These are Hamite rituals. Africa, so-called Africa. Okay, this is what you should not be doing: is getting tattoos. All right, it's things that you should not be doing. Let's get back on topic. Go ahead, bro.
Deuteronomy chapter 14, verse 2. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God, and the Lord hath chosen thee to be a peculiar people unto himself above all nations that are upon the earth. Thou shalt not eat any abominable thing. These are the beasts which ye shall eat, the ox, the sheep, and the goat.
Thank you very much. Salah, give us just a second, everybody. Go ahead.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 14, verse 3. Thou shalt not eat any abominable thing. These are the beasts which ye shall eat, the ox, the sheep, and the goat, the hart, and the roebuck, and the fallow deer, and the wild goat, and the he-goat, and the wild ox, and the chamois, and every beast that parteth the hoof, and cleaveth the clift into two claws, and cheweth the cud among the beasts that ye shall eat. Nevertheless, these ye shall not eat: of them that chew the cud, or of them that divide the cloven hoof, as the camel and the hare, and the coney, for they chew the cud, but divide not the hoof. Therefore they are unclean unto you. And the swine, because it divided the hoof, and ye cheweth not the cud, it is unclean unto you. You shall not eat of their flesh, nor touch their dead carcasses. These ye shall eat of all that are in the waters. All that have fins and scales ye shall ye eat. And whatsoever hath not fins and scales ye may not eat, it is unclean unto you. Of all the clean birds ye shall eat, but these are they which ye shall not eat: the eagle, and the ostrich, and the osprey, and the glede, and the kite, and the vulture among after his kind, and every raven after his kind, and the owl, and the nighthawk, and the cuckoo, and the hawk after his kind, the little owl, and the great owl, and the swan, and the pelican, and the gear eagle, and the cormorant, and the stork, and the heron after her kind, and the lawpink, and the bat, and every creeping thing that flieth is unclean unto you. they shall not be eaten.
Come.
But all clean fowls you may eat, ye shall not eat of anything that divideth it of itself. Thou shalt give it unto the stranger that is in thy gates, that he may eat it, or thou mayest sell it unto an alien. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord shall not seeth a kid in his thou shalt not seeth a kid in his mother's milk.
So let's see that real quick. Thou shalt not see a kid in his mother's milk. Seeth a kid in his mother's milk, right? So let's go to the Strong's H13 and 10. Seeth, bashar. It means to boil, bake, roast, or sod. All right? He's in his mother's milk. He's young. He's too young. So when you go to the Strong's 1423 and look for the kid, you think it's going to be a human. It's talking about it's God a young male goat. A young male goat. You should not see a kid in his mother's milk. You should not see a young male goat in his mother's milk. He's too young. And not to roast him. He's too young. Okay? Leave him alone. So that's what it's talking about right there. Soldier.
Sure. Verse 22, thou shalt truly tithe all the increase of thy seed, that the field bringeth forth year by year. And thou shalt eat before the Lord thy God, in the place which he shall choose to place his name there, the tithe of thy corn, and of thy wine, and of thine oil, and the firstlings of thy herds, and thy flocks, that thou mayest learn to fear the Lord thy God always. And if the way be too long for thee, so that thou art not able to carry it, or if the place be too far from thee, which the Lord thy God shall choose to set his name there, when the Lord thy God hath blessed thee, then shalt thou turn it unto money.
And this is talking about tithes, because tithes is your stock, your vineyard, your vegetables, corn, wine, all this stuff. That's what it is. So it's saying if your way be too far, like if I'm in San Diego and I'm going to LA and I gotta go with a bunch of cattle, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna sell it. I'm gonna liquidate. I'm gonna liquidate my assets, get it as cash, put it in my bag, and when I get there, I'm going to buy that stuff again. Tithes is food, but there's always a but. Today it's best to use money. But if you ain't got the money, hey, cook, bring food enough for the whole family, because hey, it's the Lord's tithes. You got to make sure if you're bringing food, everybody in there is eating well. Okay, read.
God. And thou shalt eat before the Lord thy God in the place which he shall choose to place his name there, the tithe of thy corn, of thy wine, and of thine oil, and the firstlings of thy herds, and of thy flocks, that thou mayest learn to fear the Lord thy God always. And if the way be too long for thee, so that thou art not able to carry it, or if the place be too far from thee, which the Lord thy God shall choose to set his name there, when the Lord thy God hath blessed thee, then shalt thou turn it unto money, and bind up the money in thine hands, and thou shalt go unto the place which the Lord thy God shall choose, and thou shalt bestow that money for whatsoever thy soul lusteth after, for oxen, or for sheep, or for wine, or for strong drink, or for whatsoever thy soul desireth. And thou shalt eat there before the Lord thy God, and thou shalt rejoice, thou and thine household, and the Levite that is within thy gates, and thou shalt forsake him, for thou shalt forsake him, and thou shalt not forsake him, for he hath no part nor inheritance with thee. At the end of 3 years thou shalt bring forth all thy tithe of thy increase in the same year, and shalt lay it up within thy gates. And the Levite, because he hath no part nor inheritance with thee, and the stranger, and the fatherless, and the widow, which are within thy gates, shall come and shall eat and be satisfied, that the Lord thy God may bless thee, and all thy work of thy hand which thou doest.
So don't forsake the Levite. He's telling you that again. But he's also going through a lot of things right now. Remember, these are the things that he's writing on the tables of stone. All right, 1. Tithing is a law. Okay, let's go again. Okay, that's in the next chapter. I thought it was. So, again, the Levite that is within thy gates, thou shalt not forsake him at all. Do that. Don't ditch the Levite. All right. We can't just eat anything that dieth of itself. We can give that to the heathen. That's in verse 20 to 21. But if all clean fowls ye may eat, but ye shall not eat of anything that dieth of itself. Thou shalt give it unto a stranger that is in thy gates, that he may eat it. Or thou mayest sell it unto an alien, for thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. That person. And this stranger is not talking about our brothers that are strangers, right? He's talking about the alien. All right, so Kasharah.
Kasharah, the Bari Yahweh, Shabbat, Shemai.
All that Yahweh said, what we doing here. All right, so now we're about to go over to chapter 15. All right, so read.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 15 and verse 1. At the end of every 7 years thou shalt make a release, and this is the manner of the release. Every creditor that lendeth aught unto his neighbor shall release it. He shall not exact it of his neighbor or of his brother, because it is called the Lord's release.
It is called the what?
The Lord's release.
Don't be a wicked nigga or a wicked Eve. Read.
Or of a foreigner thou mayest exact it again, but that which is thine. But that which is thine with thy brother, thine hand shall release.
Like, don't loan upon usury. You know what I mean? Like, you can exact the same. Like he was saying right here. Thou shalt release it. He shall not exact it of his neighbor. Like after that 7 years, you can't exact it. You can't ask for it back. But of a foreigner, you can't. Then this also goes into usury of a brother, right? Even though this is just the Jubilee, you're not supposed to exact it afterwards. But imagine if you loaning a brother money upon usury. Can't do that. You can't do that at all. All right. So if you loan your brother $50, you're going to get $50 back. But if you loan a heathen $50, you say, if I'm gonna loan you $50, you got to give me $100 back. You can do that to a heathen. All right. Go ahead. And which in the kingdom, woo, taxation with representation. Taxing. Go ahead.
Verse 4, save when there shall be no poor among you, for the Lord shall greatly bless thee in the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee for an inheritance to possess it. Only if thou carefully hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all of these commandments which I command thee this day, for the Lord thy God blesseth thee, as he promised thee, and thou shalt lend unto many nations, but thou shalt not borrow, and thou shalt not reign over many nations, but they shall not reign over thee. If there be among you a poor man of one of thy brethren within thy gates, then
in thy land. Start back at 7.
If there be among you a poor man of one of thy brethren within of thy gates, in thy land which the Lord thy God giveth thee, thou shalt not harden thy heart, nor shut thine hand from thy poor brother, but thou shalt open thine hand wide unto him, and shall surely lend him sufficient for his need in that which he wanted. Beware that there be not a thought in thy wicked heart, saying, the 7th year, the year of release, is at hand, and thine eye be evil against thy poor brother, and thou givest him not, and he cry unto the Lord against thee, and it be sin unto thee. Thou shalt surely give him, and thine heart shall not be grieved when thou givest unto him, because that for this thing the Lord thy God shall bless. thee in all thy works and all that thou puttest thine hand unto. For the poor shall never cease out of the land. Therefore I command thee, saying, Thou shalt open thine hand wide unto thy brother, and to thy poor and thy needy in the land. And if thy brother, an Hebrew man or an Hebrew woman, be sold unto thee, and serve thee 6 years, then in the 7th year thou shalt let him go free from thee. And when thou sendest him out free from thee, thou shalt not let him go away empty. Thou shalt furnish him liberally out of thy flock, and out of the floor, and out of thy winepress, out of wherewith the Lord thy God hath blessed thee, thou shalt give unto him. And thou shalt remember that thou wast a bondman in the land of Egypt, and the Lord thy God redeemed thee. Therefore I command thee this thing today. And it shall be, if he say unto thee, I will not go away from thee, because he loveth thee, and thine house, because he is well with thee, then thou shalt take an awl and thrust it through his ear, and unto the door he shall be thy servant forever. And unto thy maidservant thou shalt do likewise. It shall not seem hard unto thee when thou sendest him away from thee, for thee hath been worth a double hired servant to thee, in serving thee 6 years. And the Lord thy God shall bless thee in all that thou doest. And all the firstling males that come of thy herd and of thy flock thou shalt sanctify unto the Lord thy God. Thou shalt do no work with the firstling of thy bullock, nor shear the firstling of thy sheep. Thou shalt eat it before the Lord thy God year by year, in the place which the Lord shall choose, thou and thy household. And if there be any blemish therein, as if it be lame or blind, or have any ill blemish, thou shalt not sacrifice it unto the Lord thy God. Thou shalt eat it within thy gates. The unclean and the clean person shall eat it alike, as the roebuck and the hart. Only thou shalt not eat the blood thereof. Thou shalt pour it upon the ground as water.
Con. So that says a lot. Let's see what a blemish is on an animal. All right. I'm going to go to 15 and 21. And thou shalt remember that thou was a bondman in the land of Egypt, and the Lord thy God redeemed thee. Okay, verse 21, chapter 15, verse 21. And if there be any blemish therein, as if it be lame or blind, or have any ill blemish, thou shalt not sacrifice it unto the Lord thy God. So if that goat or lamb has a limb that's broken, or a lazy eye, or crazy looking eye, a weird broken nose, or a extra long limb, and an extra toe, that's a blemish. You are not going to sacrifice that unto the Most High. That animal has a blemish. Do not sacrifice it. Okay. Go ahead.
Call Sharad Bar Yahweh Naisha Nashaman.
All that Yahweh said doing here. Okay, Khan. This is a short chapter, but good one. It's a shorty but good one. And it goes into a lot that a lot of people need to understand. Okay? Get the Bible on your phone so you can pull up a Bible on your other phone. So I'm gonna have you go through each other precepts on this one. And very important. This one is very important for y'all to pay attention, because you gotta keep the law, man. Ready? Okay, read.
Deuteronomy chapter 16, verse 1. Observe the month of Abib and keep the Passover unto the Lord thy God. For in the month of Abib the Lord thy God brought thee forth out of the Egypt of by night. Thou shalt therefore sacrifice the Passover unto the Lord thy God, of the flock and of the herd, in the place which the Lord shall choose to place his name there. Thou shalt eat no leavened bread with it. 7 days shalt thou eat unleavened bread therewith, even the bread of affliction.
So what is the month of Abib? Give me Exodus 12 and 2, Baba Kushab. Show them what the month of Abib is.
Exodus chapter 12, verse 2. This month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be unto you the first month of the year to you.
And then what's next?
Speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, in the 10th day of the month, then shall take you to them every man a lamb according to the house of the fathers, a lamb for an house.
All right, the next is unleavened. The next is Passover. After Abib, it's the Passover and then unleavened bread. All right, so it's the beginning of the year, New Year's. Abib is New Year's for us Israelites, not January 1st. Right? Not December 31st, going into the first of the year. All right? It is spring. All right, go skip down to 26 real quick.
Verse 26. And it shall come to pass, when your children shall say unto you, what mean you by this service? That ye shall say, it is the sacrifice of the Lord's Passover, who passed over the houses of the children of Israel in Egypt, when he smote the Egyptians, delivered our houses, and the people bowed the head and worshiped.
So that's next, the Passover. It's the month of Abib, which is the New Year, and then the Passover. Okay? Continue to read. We're stopping at verse 17.
Oh, read Deuteronomy?
Verse 2.
This is the only place that we read it?
For right now, I think so.
Okay. Verse 2. Thou shalt therefore sacrifice the Passover unto the Lord thy God, of the flock and of the herd, in the place which the Lord shall choose to place his name there. Thou shalt eat no leavened bread with it. 7 days shalt thou eat unleavened bread therewith, even the bread of affliction. For thou camest forth out of the land of Egypt in haste, that thou mayest remember the day when thou camest forth out of the land of Egypt all the days of thy life. And there shall be no leavened bread seen with thee in all thy coasts 7 days, neither shall there anything of the flesh which thou sacrifices the first day at even remain all night until the morning. Thou mayest not sacrifice the Passover within any of the gates that the Lord thy God giveth thee, but at the place which the Lord thy God shall choose to place his name in, there thou shalt sacrifice the Passover at even, at the going down of the sun, at the season that thou camest forth out of Egypt. And thou shalt roast it, eat it in the place which the Lord thy God shall choose, and thou shalt turn in the morning and go unto the tents. 6 days thou shalt eat unleavened bread, and on the 7th day it shall be a solemn assembly to the Lord thy God.
On the 7th day it should be a solemn assembly. All right?
Thou shalt do
and it will also be a Sabbath on that 7th day. All right? Read.
Thou shalt do no work therein. 7 weeks shalt thou begin to number these 7 weeks, from such time as thou beginnest to put the sickle to the corn. And thou shalt keep the feast of weeks unto the Lord thy God, with a tribute of a free will offering of thine hand, and thou shalt give unto the Lord thy God, according as the Lord thy God hath blessed thee. And thou shalt rejoice before the Lord thy God, thou and thy son and thy daughter, and thy manservant and thy maidservant, and the Levite that is within thy gates, and the stranger, and the fatherless, and the widow that are among you, and the place which the Lord thy God hath chosen to place his name there. And thou shalt remember the Lord, and thou shalt remember that thou wast a bondman in Egypt, and thou shalt observe and do these statutes. Thou shalt observe the feast of tabernacles 7 days, after that thou hast gathered in thy corn and thy wine, and thou shalt rejoice in thy feast, thou and thy son and thy daughter and thy manservant and thy maidservant and the Levite that is in the stranger and the fatherless and the widow that are within thy gates. 7 days thou shalt keep a solemn feast.
So hold on. Going fast. Verse 13, thou shalt observe the Feast of Tabernacles 7 days, after thou hast gathered in thy corn and thy wine. So these feast days goes into the harvest. You know what I mean? We have a lot of feast days, man. I don't understand how people would want to celebrate anything other than this. You know what I'm saying? It's a feast day on a Sabbath. Got the new moon, which is a feast day. These are things that happen every month. The Sabbath is 4 times a month. Then a new moon. We are very festive people. We are very festive people, man. I love it. I love having lamb every month, man. No brother can get on here and say he don't like having lamb, man. Something is wrong with you. Your knobs are not all the way screwed in.
Dang, that's crazy.
They say that you don't like lamb.
Like,
that's crazy.
Who would not want to have 52 feasts? How many? Like you have the other feast days plus 52 other feast days that we keep.
We can count the Sabbaths alone a year.
52 Sabbaths.
52 Sabbaths. 52 Sabbaths a year, man. You're feasting 52 Sabbaths a year. I don't get it. How you would want anything other than that. Plus a Purim, a Bib, Passover, Feast of Unleavened Bread, Feast of Weeks, Tabernacle. Wow. And the list goes on and on. 7 days of it, though,
but
man.
You want to celebrate Easter and Christmas, which Hanukkah is 7 days
of gifts.
7 days of gifts. You want to celebrate Christmas, which is just the morning.
Wow. Your screws aren't screwed on so tight, buddy. You know what I'm saying? Blessing the wine, blessing the lamb, drinking, everybody touching glasses, ping. You know what I'm saying? Hey, this working is a curse, man. Hey, we gotta get the hell up out of this. I'm tired of being cursed, man. We gotta get up out of this, bro. Best way we can. And that is keeping the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God, Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, Mashiach, Barakatham. All right? Go ahead, finish.
Now, verse 14. And thou shalt rejoice in thy feast, thou and thy son and thy daughters, and the manservant and the maidservant, and the Levite and the stranger, and the fatherless and the widow that are within thy gates. 7 days thou shalt keep a solemn feast unto the Lord thy God, in the place which the Lord shall choose, because the Lord thy God shall bless thee in all thy increase, and all thy works in thy hands, therefore thou shalt surely rejoice. 3 times in a year shall all thy males appear before the Lord thy God, in the place which he shall choose, in the feast of unleavened bread, and in the feast of weeks, and in the feast of tabernacles.
So hold on. 3 times in a year shall all thy males appear before the Lord thy God, in the place which he shall choose. Right now, all the members of 4 going to meet at my house, and that's where he chooses for you to be. Okay? That's where he chooses for you to be. All right? He have given you teachers according to his mind. Women, wives, you be where your head is. That is the place where he chose for you to be. That's where you be, gladly serving him, rubbing his head, rubbing his feet if he needs you to do it. That's what you do. You please him. Okay? When you serve that man his food, you look him in his eyes and say, Shalom, Adawan. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, sir. You do those things. Read Baba Kashar. Stop that Feast of Tabernacles.
7 days shalt thou keep a solemn feast of the Lord thy God, in the place which the Lord shall choose, because the Lord thy God shall bless thee in all thy increase, and all thy works of thine hands. Therefore thou shalt surely rejoice. 3 times in the year shall all thy males appear before the Lord thy God, in the place which he shall choose, in the feast of unleavened bread, in the feast of weeks, and in the feast of tabernacles, and they shall not appear before the Lord empty. Every man shall give as he is able, according to the blessing of the Lord thy God, which he hath given thee.
So what did you think he meant by that? Every man shall give as he is able, according to the blessing of the Lord thy God. According to the blessing, according to what he blessed you with, that job you have. That job, and the women too. The job you have, the Most High blessed you with it. That's your husband's money. You give that shit up. That's just what you do. That is his money. It is not yours. Turn it over so he can bless the house on how he feels and what he needs to do. You turn that damn money over. It's not yours, it's his. All right? And that is the end of the Torah. We're going to go to the prophets now. So remember, 3 times a year, brothers, we're supposed to gather together. 3 times a year. All right? So we're going to go to Isaiah what?
54 and 11.
All right, come. Isaiah 54 and 11. Salakia, just a sec. People coming in, give us a sec. All right, Shalom, I'm back. Shalom, Yasharallah. All right, we're going to Isaiah chapter 54, verse 11. Read, soldier.
So, Isaiah chapter 54 and verse 11. Right. O thou afflicted, tossed with tempest, and not comforted. Behold, I will lay thy stones with fair colors, and lay thy foundations with sapphires, and I will make thy windows of agates, and of thy gates of carbuncles, and all thy borders of pleasant stones. And all thy children shall be taught of the Lord. Great shall be the peace of thy children.
So he's just saying how great things are going to look in our kingdom. So he's just saying how great everything looks. That's what he's doing. All right? Right?
John, verse 13. And all thy children shall be taught of the Lord, and great shall be the peace of thy children. And righteousness shalt thou be established. Thou shalt be far from oppression, for thou shalt not fear, and from terror, for it shall not come near thee. Behold, they shall surely gather together, but not by me. Whosoever shall gather together against thee shall fall for thy sake. Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire.
So the Most High somebody, hey, destruction. He's created a smith that blows the smoke in the fire, right? Read.
and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work, and I have created the waster to destroy
the waters,
the
or
water.
the waster.
Yeah, the waster to destroy.
Okay, go ahead.
Come. No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their righteousness is of me, saith the Lord.
Come on.
That's right.
Go ahead.
Verse 55. Ho, everyone that thirsteth, come ye to the waters, and he that hath no money, come ye, buy and eat, yea, come, buy wine and milk without money and without price. Wherefore do ye spend money for that which is not bread, and your labor for that which satisfieth not?
So this is the Most High saying in verse 1 that he wants us to buy free food. Read that again in verse 1.
Okay. Ho, everyone that thirsteth, come ye to the waters, and he that hath no money, come ye, buy and eat, yea, come, buy wine and milk without money and without price.
So, give me John 7 and 38. Let's see what that waters is. Oh, everyone that thirsteth, come ye to the waters. And he that hath no money, come ye, buy and eat. Yea, come, buy wine and milk without money. So this is something that you can buy without money. Let's find out what it is.
John 7 and 38. He that believeth on me, as the scripture hath said, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water.
Read. Is that it?
Yeah.
So now, give me Sirach 1 and 5.
Sirach chapter 1 verse 5. The word of God most high is the fountain of wisdom.
Is the what?
Is the fountain of wisdom.
It's a fountain, water pouring out, read.
And her ways are everlasting commandments.
And her ways are everlasting commandments. Those waters, you know what I'm saying? Read that again, please.
The word of God most high is the fountain of wisdom, and her ways are everlasting commandments.
So what does a fountain have? Waters. Fountain of wisdom. So, ho, everyone that thirsteth, come ye to the waters. That wisdom, come get some wisdom, some understanding. And he hath not, come ye to the waters, and he that hath no money, come ye, buy and eat. Yea, come, buy wine and milk without money. Why? Because you'll be able to get it with wisdom and understanding. All right. So, start at 2.
Verse 2. Wherefore do ye, Isaiah 55 and 2. Wherefore do ye spend money for that which is not bread, and your labor for that which satisfieth not?
So, wherefore do you spend money for that which is not bread? How are you going to spend money for something that is not bread? You're spending money for something that is not bread. It is not wisdom. It's not understanding. But we're gonna show you what the bread is in the next the gospel. We're gonna show you what the bread is. Keep reading.
Hearken diligently unto me, and eat ye that which is good, and let your soul delight itself in fatness. Incline your ear, and come unto me. Hear, and your soul shall live. And I will make an everlasting covenant with you, even the sure mercies of David. Behold, I have given him for a witness to the people.
And who's this talking about? Yahweh Shah, read.
A leader and a commander to the people. Behold, thou shalt call a nation that thou knowest not, and nations that knew not thee shall run unto thee, because the Lord thy God hath for the Holy One of Israel.
For the what?
For the Holy One of Israel.
The Lord thy God and for the Holy One of Israel. Talking about two people right there. Yahweh and Yahweh Shah. Read.
For he hath glorified thee.
Read.
Seek ye the Lord. No, that's it.
That's it. Come. So that's verses 4 and 5 is talking about Yahweh Shah. But it's also in verse 1 through 5 is talking about the wisdom and understanding that Yahweh Shah is going to pour out. All right, that the Most High bestowed upon him. So now let's go over to the gospel. And let's find out more about that bread and stuff that you should eat, man. John what?
6:35
To what, 55?
51.
Right.
John chapter 6, verse 35. And Jesus said unto them, I am the bread of life.
I am the what?
I am the bread of life.
Read.
He that cometh to me shall never hunger.
Right.
And he that believeth on me shall never thirst. But I said unto you that you also have seen me, and believe not. All that the Father giveth me shall come to me, and him that cometh to me I will in no wise cast out.
Why? Because you thirst, and he fed you with wisdom and understanding. You thirst. You don't thirst no more. Read.
For I came down from heaven, not to do mine own will, but the will of him that sent me. And this is the Father's will which hath sent me, that of all which he hath given me I should lose nothing, but should raise it up again at the last day. And this is the will of him that sent me, that every one which seeth the Son and believeth on him may have everlasting life. And I will raise him up at the last day.
Come.
The Jews did murmur in him because he said, I am the bread which came down from heaven.
The what?
I am the bread which came down from heaven.
Like we said, read.
And they said, Is not this Jesus the son of Joseph, whose father and mother we know? How is it then that he hath said, I came down from heaven? Jesus therefore answered and said unto them, Murmur not among yourselves. No man can come to me except the Father which hath sent me. Draw him, and I will raise him up the last day. It is written in the prophets, and they shall be all taught of God. Every man therefore that hath heard and hath learned of the Father cometh unto me. This precept right here, when Yahushua said it is written in the prophets. That tells these those Old Testament only cats that even Yahushua read the Old Testament.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Hey, he's some Old Testament Hebrews right here. New Testament. Yeah. Go ahead.
And they shall be all taught of God. Every man therefore.
Start back at 44, please.
Verse 44. No man can come to me except the Father which hath sent me. Draw him, and I will raise him up at the last day. It is written in the prophets, and they shall be all taught of God. Every man therefore that thou hast heard and hath learned of the Father cometh unto me. Not that any man hath seen the Father, save thee which is of God. He hath seen the Father. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me has an everlasting life. I am that bread of life.
Say it again.
I am that bread of life.
For the third time. Go ahead.
Your fathers did eat manna in the wilderness and are dead. This is the bread which cometh down from heaven, that a man may eat thereof and not die.
And what?
And not die.
That eat thereof and not die. Read.
I am the living bread which came down from heaven. If any man eat of this bread, he shall live forever. And the bread that I will give in my flesh will I give for the life of the world.
That's right. Found out what the bread was. Found out what the water was. Found out what the food was. It's Yahushua, man. And the wisdom and the understanding. So you will know. Right? So if we have any questions, post them. Do what you got to do. And then John is a good book to go to. It's a good book to go to, man. You got those people talking about it, it's faith, not works, and everything else. John cuts them up, man. John just cuts them to shreds. He just leaves them for dead, man. Okay? So with that, We're gonna end this out with the prayers, man. And we're gonna get up out of here. All right, everybody bow. Take your shoes off.
You're in a holy place. This is the Aliyah now. It is our duty to praise the master of all, to ascribe greatness to the author of creation, who has not made us like the nations of the land, nor placed us like the family of the earth, who has not made our portion like theirs, nor our destiny like all their movements. For they worship vanity and emptiness, and pray to a God who cannot save. But we bow and worship, and thank the Supreme King of Kings, the Holy One. Blessed be he who extends the heavens and establishes the earth, whose throne of glory is in the heavens above, and whose power's presence is in the highest of heights. He is our God, there is no other. Truly, he is our King. There is none else. As it is written in the Torah, ye shall know and take to heart this day that Yahweh is Elohim in the heavens above and on earth below. There is no other. Hallelujah. 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 Hashem. Yahushua. Mashiach. Shema. Yahweh. Yahweh. Shema, Yahshua, Yahweh, Elohim, Yahweh, Shema, Yahshua, Yahweh, Yahweh, Shema, Yahshua, Yahweh, Elohim, Yahweh, Yahweh, Echad, the wisdom of our God, the Lord. The Ten Commandments: love and love thy neighbor, love Yahweh. Anya, Yahweh, Elohim, Asherah, Atita, Barakazayim, Haya, Elohim, Kari, Apanya, Ta'asha, the soul, the Abidam, the Porka, Hashem, Yahweh, Bashawa, the car, Hayawam, Hashabah, Lakadash, Kabad, Abakut, Amakut, the Rakazah, the Shakor, the Kamal, Call, Asherah, First Great Commandments. Hear, Israel, Yahweh, our God, Yahweh is one. I shall love Yahweh, thy God, with all thy heart, with thy soul. Right? Second Great Commandments. For I can la'at the Kwam, la'at the Tar, Asbanya, Anka, wa Abata, wa Ra'ata, Kama, wa Kamani, Power. That shall not avenge, nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people. I shall love thy neighbor as thyself. This is the Zarkar 1, Hashah, the memorial of the woman, found in Matthew 26, verse 6 and 13, and Mark chapter 14, verse 3 to 9. Now when Yahweh was in Bethany in the house of Simon the Leper, there came up to him a woman, having an alabaster box of very precious ointment, poured it on his head, as he sat at meat. But when his disciples saw it, they had indignation, saying, to what purpose is this waste? For this ointment might have been sold for 300 pence, 1 year's wages, and given to the poor. When Yahweh understood it, he said unto them, why trouble ye the young woman? For she hath wrought a good work upon you. For ye have the poor always with you, but me ye have not always. For in that she hath poured this ointment on my body, she did it for my burial. Verily I say unto you, Whosoever this gospel shall be preached in the whole world, there shall also this, that this woman hath done, be told for a memorial of her. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Bashem, Bashem, Yahushua, Mashiach,
All right, that is the end of the Shabbat services. Hallelujah. All praises to the Most High Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushua, in the name of His only begotten Son, Jesus Christ. All right. With that, Shalom.